Okay, Lindsey, we're going to start with you. Should artificial intelligence be federally regulated?
Artificial intelligence holds tremendous potential in a variety of industries. Right now, the U.S. Congress doesn't hold the requisite expertise to craft regulations that would not be unduly burdensome and stifle innovation. It's also really important to think about the global context. Both our allies and our adversaries are keen on developing AI, and neither...
That was so good, though. Within the time that you had, that was very impressive. All right, Jacob, same question to you. 15 seconds. Should AI be federally regulated?
Yes, it absolutely should be, and that's because artificial intelligence is basically poised to pick up all the patterns of our lives, and potentially it allows us to sort of amplify those patterns and manipulate one another on the basis of them. Right now, it's not exactly clear what form that regulation should take, but there are lots of examples from other places where you could do it.
Okay. One of the big things that we talk about a lot on this topic is the idea that robots will basically become better at humans at every kind of job. How concerned do you guys think humans should be about losing their jobs to AI? Jacob?
Well, I would definitely say that any job that involves pattern recognition, picking up a pattern is going to be either augmented by or replaced by AI. We're seeing this.
Give me some examples.
So let's talk about, the medical industry. Right now, an oncologist looking at a picture of a mole on your back, trying to figure out if it's cancerous, can instead hand that off to software that's just come out that'll look at millions of other pictures and say, okay, based on what we know of it, the pattern here is, yes, this is cancerous, or no, it is not. That kind of thing works incredibly well. And so are we going to need all of those, lab techs who do those kinds of readings? I don't think so, not in the future.
Computers are better at pattern recognition. They will be better at diagnosing people, and the world will be better for it. Does that mean we don't have doctors? No. It means that they shift their scope in what they're doing, and we have more people getting treated earlier, living better, healthier lives. So I don't think it's something to fear.
So taking into consideration everything that we've talked about here today, Lindsey, what do you think effective AI regulation would look like, both from the government and from the tech companies that are creating it?
So I think a lot of it will have to be application-based. So we can have regulations that say if drones identify this is a body of people where there might be a suspect that we need to think about taking out, that's something that the computer doesn't make the final decision. A human should make the final decision. That sort of application-specific regulation is totally possible, and you don't need to know the ins and outs of AI to create that sort of regulation.
Artificial intelligence is the first truly revolutionary technology that's going to change everybody's lives that is entirely happening within the private sector. It's inside companies that have to obey essentially no rules whatsoever. And so for me, the real concern here is you combine the power that those companies are going to have, the lack of regulation that they have on them, and the capacity for influencing society, democracy, everything about our way of life. Somebody's got to put some guardrails around that kind of activity.
See, and I don't actually think that's quite the case. Existing laws do govern things that AI can be used for. So end results for automated vehicles and stuff. There are existing state laws and federal regulations that kind of limit these things. So while we don't have good regulations on the black box algorithms and we don't necessarily know what's making those decisions, the end results still do have governance around them.
I agree with you in the cases where those end results are the sort of edge cases, military usages or people's safety behind the wheel of an automatic car, that kind of thing. What I'm worried about is there is a subtler kind of human influence that we are just starting to see. So I'll give you an example. Remember that United Airlines flight where the guy was dragged off the flight out of Chicago, right? He was
all over social media.
All over social media, right? And United got all this blame for it. Well, here's what actually happened. His name got chosen by a computer, but that guy said, nope, I'm not leaving. I'm staying on this flight. They called in security guards and said to him, this guy's name has been pulled off of a computer. Go and do this. Now, I've been talking to all these psychologists who study anthropomorphism, the tendency we have to give computers more weight than they deserve. And they've shown that it basically short-circuits your decision-making system when you're told that a name comes out of a computer. And as a result, I think we all are in a position where once these AI-driven results come at us, we're going to make all kinds of weird decisions we don't even know about.
Okay, so I know where you guys both stand right now. Jacob, you are for. Lindsey, you are against regulation. But now we're going to change things up. We call this part of the show Switching Sides, where we push really smart people out of their comfort zones to confront their own biases. So we're going to have you swap sides.
I love it.
Jacob, from the opposing view.
Yeah.
Should AI be regulated?
Okay, absolutely not. There's no question that it should be absolutely left open. I mean, one thing is the private sector has created incredible innovations that the public sector really can't anymore. You know, that you don't have enough well-paid STEM people in the public sector to even fuel the kinds of breakthrough innovations that we've seen out of the private sector. So yeah, you know, maybe we need companies to just go and make it happen.
Lindsey, I'm going to flip it over to you now that you're on the other side.
Yeah, I think we absolutely should regulate AI. There's a lot of privacy concerns, and individual consumers don't even know what they put out there and how it's going to be used. Like when you think about talking to Alexa and how Alexa is getting smarter and understanding intonation, if we don't regulate private sector usage of this, they will use it for whatever they like. And we can't control those ends. We might not agree what those ends should be, but we should have some contours of regulations kind of guiding companies, or at least putting limits on what they can do with this sort of information.
That was scary convincing and
She's
a
good.
scary
She turned me around.
and a
That was
scary
great.
conversation too. Lindsey, Jacob, thank you so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.